Why, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, it's been sort of a long one now, hasn't it? Given that, also just move that out of the way, yep. Given that it's been a little while since I've done anything old school Runescape related, as you'll probably no doubt tell, yeah, I've been inactive for probably the better part of a year and just, I don't know, with Runescape, it's an interesting one, you know. So much I've experienced, and yet now it seems to be when work at times now taking a bit of a priority in that, you know. It's a strange one, and I'll give you that much. Also, yeah, pin indeed. Yeah, you see my bank's hardly fucking changed in the last, what? Well, I don't know exactly. It's just, I think that's the thing at the end of the day, and that, you know, I've managed to achieve this much since, God, talking way back in mid-2015. You know, 5+ years, you know, having played for a good 2 bit years, you know, almost, and then having to take a year's break because of just the whole grief over being permanently muted, and then coming back, and then within, what, another 2 bit years, coming back stronger than ever, you know, turning what would have been a mere 230 mil bank into like almost if not borderline 2 billion, and I thought that was when the economy was doing its at its peak, and well, with the way things are going, it's well, you may be wondering, all things aside, yes, what is this event? And because then this is the first time I get to really properly don and wear full Gilrid armour, and indeed, this is interesting because this recording takes place over 2 different days. And you may be wondering, well, what the fuck do I mean by that? Well, specifically, this is the first of 2 clan war events. This one, I'm just going to be honest with you, this one wasn't so great. So what I'll do, I'll fast forward through all the crap and that, because there's no point going through all that and that, and I'll just... Also, yeah, my goodness, yeah, this doesn't work so well. Yeah, in case you're curious, I use the Mobile Video Editor to combine these 2 together, but my goodness, and that, it doesn't do such a great job when trying to do fast forward, but I suppose that's besides the point. Yeah, I reckon once we get into the real meat, that is the Clan Wars itself. Now, just to give you a heads up, there is an update that took place with Clan Wars that wasn't present in the first one, but was in the second, so be a bit surprised as to what's changed in that, because it was certainly fucking surprised me when I came across it the second time, but alas, this first one only consisted of, and I quote, 1 single battle against it was the Castle Wars community, and the fucking I should know this, but I don't know who it's actually running the place, like the community, and but just the Clan Wars community against some really top notch free to play Pk'ing clan, which I highly suspect clients will use, but you'll see what I mean later on down the road, and that just with that whole bullshit, and yeah, that's got at 4 times speed. It's like, holy fuck. Right, I suppose probably whilst all the shenanigans is going on, I may as well get on with the news. Yeah, I suspect this may be one of potentially the last chances I can get to cover this, so I may as well give it a good bash, why don't we? So yes, whilst we're at it, indeed, all things is it coming up here, so this will be a good opportunity to slow it down a tad and that. Yeah, so the next one, finally starting to catch up a little bit. Yes, so the Below Ice Mountain free-to-play quest that I just went about 2 or 3 videos ago. Yeah, this one released to some controversy, as is to be expected, as yeah, one of the big perks of this one was a certain hammer and that was meant to be kind of good, and believe me, it is, but it then comes with its own problem where essentially, yeah, the problem with this item here is that, well, it kind of makes the saw from, what was it? Oh, I forget that construction kind of from, was it Mahogany Homes, I think, or something like that? Yeah, it makes it kind of pointless because the saw doesn't have nearly as much use, yet you have to go out your way to get it. So it's like, people are thinking, well, why not just combine the 2 together, or just have the saw as a shield, and Jagex has been funny about it. I don't know, they don't it seems like, okay, the saw might be understandable because having 2 items at the same time do 2 different kind of upgrade kind of things, probably going to be quite a bit complicated from a coding perspective. But then why not create a new item that has the 2 combined together that then combines the 2 purposes? So it's like, it's still 1 item, but it just does both of them. But from a coding perspective, that shouldn't be that difficult. Jagex just, I don't know, they never said much about it. They just said, oh, it's engine work, and well, we've not heard much from them about it, but who knows, maybe later on in the year they might get around to it. You never know, but indeed, we shall see. And also, yeah, you see that unusual speech and that, where it seems all highly corny. Yeah, a little part of third-party client and that, potentially illegal like that, but considering it's mostly all done through RuneLite these days, it's kind of hard to target them exactly. You know, it's longer the days are when the official client was the client to use. Any sort of non-official software was just swiftly banned. But alas, such is the days of it. Anywho, yeah, so that was one controversy. But then the next one, and this is a different thing entirely, yeah. So the mining, smithing, and fishing methods in this new dungeon were just nerfed, completely crushed beyond belief. Indeed, there was a terminology going once by the name of the free-to-play motherlode mine, and that was true for 1 day, or maybe not even that, maybe like 20 odd hours or something, where you could actually get half Steve's experience. I think what they had was that something that was alright, like maybe 10, 15k for people who are like level 40 with pickaxe, but they didn't take into account people who are like level 80, 90 plus with, well, even pickaxe getting up towards a 25k, and I think on members you can get as high as like around the low to mid 30s, which, albeit, I mean, if you're going to do that, you may as well fuck off to that shit motherlode mine, but in free play it was welcoming, but some would say it was overpowered, and you could kind of see from that angle, but it was kind of like, well, Jagex, yeah, they weren't happy with it, so with a little bit of mini controversy, people trying to fake, like, oh, this like ridiculous certified 40k to kind of skew the certifieds, you know, the people on Twitter, the loudmouths and that. Minority they may be, but the loudest they certainly are, and just, now it's just nerfed beyond belief, and what could have been a nice skilling hub is now just dead, pretty much. But that's to be expected, eh? Well. So, next thing here, and this is a bit of an oddity one. Yeah, does anyone remember this little queer fellow by the name of Oslo? Yes, he who shat himself in the toilet whilst trying to get smithing rank at first place in the, I don't know if it was skilling the hell or something like that, but he failed anyway, he only got second place. And yeah, shat himself while he was trying to grind smithing. Yeah, he was actually one of the top ranked people of all time. He rank 13 overall, or should I say was. As now he's been somewhat recently, I think earlier last month, early May or something like that, was permanently banned from RuneScape as Jagex condemned his, to put it bluntly, his sexual predatory / I guess borderline paedophile comments from that was reported on Discord and I guess also on RuneScape and that in some private chats made public on Reddit. And yes, a witch hunt, this was, I guess not. It's strange that I have an issue with the inconsistency. What is and isn't a witch hunt? It's like, you know, you get certain people who's just like, bam, you know, immediate, whoever posted it just obliterate, even just maybe might get banned and that, nobody ever hears squeak as they intend to. Other people, it's like, they actually welcome it. It's like, you know, it's like, how dare this person, it's just, it's a load of fucking hypocrisy, and that's what I hate about it. It's either you're really strict and you ban a lot of people evenly, or you're just like way let loose and just like people like rule breaks and la da 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 da. But it's the inconsistencies I fucking despise, and you'll see this a lot with other MMORPGs and not even just games and that. You'll see this a lot in company hierarchies and that. There's a lot of inconsistencies that bias the human element, as it were, and oh fuck. But yeah, Oslo's now apparently gone and probably shunned throughout the rest of RuneScape history, unless he go under a different name and that his identity is not revealed, but who the fuck knows really. Well, so with that being said, yeah, we're seeing ourselves getting prepped for the war against this clan whose name I still don't know. If you might have seen the name of it. I wasn't really paying attention to the clan chat, so yeah, you could probably figure out, you know, this isn't going to go as you might expect, but here we are. It's not going to be your ordinary Clan Wars battle, I'll say that much. Like, goddamn. Goddamn, but well, it'll be the kind of battle that. Well, I'll leave you this question up. What I'll have to do, I'll need to quickly check something. This is going to require some tinkering off screen, but how many people do you think is going to die on our team? How many? You know, or no, I'll phrase this differently. How many people do you think on the opposite team, the opponents, you know, that blue one right there, how do you think they will die? I'll leave you those questions as I get the stuff sorted out, so if you shall excuse me for a minute or two. And back. Alright, so with that stuff all sorted out, yes, reckon I can get right back into it. So, indeed, you're about to see this clan here getting absolutely fucking decimated, like the likes of which you've never seen. Even though we're just one less than the opponent team, like, see that they were not just coordinated, they were like extremely coordinated. Every single person fought a team. But you see with that VR, Veto, but I think what the thing is that they're targeting. Like, I don't know how the third party client works on that, if they've got ones that Pk'ing teams can use to kind of specifically target one person out of, like, you know, say it does it. Because it just seems strange, they're all targeting, like, the 1, 2, maybe 3 people. Like, VR, Kpa, fucking. You'll see the names there now. You see my name will come up soon enough. And right about, yep, there. Virch. And it's just boom, like, fucking decimated. Like, I did not stand a fucking chance. Unfortunately, I was one amongst the other ones to die in that, but although it's just like, look at that. Yeah, I highly suspect there was third-party clients that were not exactly legal used in that, the Pk'ing ones, because like, how the fuck do you get coordination that good? It's just, and maybe that looks a bit more, I don't know. Someone was off about that, but who knows, but well, there we go. So yes, what I reckon here, and I'll continue with the news as normal, so you see this slaughterfest unfold before your very eyes. So without further ado, also that camera getting slightly shafted there. There we go. Alright. So, this is going to be a little fun one for the, yes, Mod G. You know, what a, how could one describe her? And that, because I know she's not been quite to the same controversy as Mod Jed, although I know Mod Wolf's also had a bit of controversy about him, but yeah, she's had her own little bit here and there in regards to her being a graphics artist and how she had her vision for Runescape and that, you know, she was more akin to that, like the high fantasy kind of one, like the, you know, the really detailed graphic works, which is a noble thing in its own way, but that's not going to reflect all products in that, you know, that mindset, and it's kind of like, well, okay, that's super for one kind of type of game, you know, certain games, but for Runescape it's always held with retro graphics, not like to say, oh, just fucking half-assed, don't even bother, but you know, it was always like, you know, it had a certain aesthetic, and that requires a certain kind of artist to really manage well. Like Mod Ghost did that really fucking good, you know. Maybe for some, like, some bosses could say, like, for example, the Abyssal Sire or some, like, maybe the Alchemic Hydra even might be a bit too high fantasy, but it was always grounded to some degree. And certainly his ones were sorely missed in that, you know, but yeah, Mod G made her name very much known with the whole fucking Song of the Elves and changing how the elves looked and all that, and just some Twitter remarks were not exactly, how shall we say it, they weren't exactly making the community very happy, to say the least, but that's what you get for personal social media and whatnot these days, eh? But Anywho, yes, she did a little sub-series called the Pictionary shows, and that starting, I want to say, somewhere around June or July last year, and that just basically it was kind of getting the community together, you know, doing these sort of little drum-up sessions and that. There was advertising on Twitch as well, like as well as on the game every single time. I remember that much. And it was also interesting because whilst I was in the middle of fucking about, just having a chat with a few people, you know, actually relatively recently, I think, coming up towards the middle of May and that, saw the little thing come out. I was like, oh, another Pictionary show, and I'll come up with that. And I was actually there live when it happened. Yeah, in case you wonder, oh, something to go wrong, huge technical difficulty, or, you know, some scandalous. Not really. She just chose after the end of it to announce that she was indeed quitting from RuneScape. Although there was a bit of confusion, whereas initially people thought, oh, she's quitting old school RuneScape and actually going to RuneScape 3 where it makes sense. Nope, she's just already quit Jagex, and that she's looking to what some might describe as greener pastures, is a word. But alas, that's it for her. You know, she's just thinking she's want to go into the more AAA kind of, you know, graphics artistry scene, and I suppose some can't blame her. Others might just say, you know, that yeah, she had it coming, but that's her out of the game, and that, you know, she's no longer going to have any kind of impact on the graphics, as it were. So, also, yeah, I think with this clan, yeah, they pretty much fucked off with their one round of this. It was not worth their time, and just, yeah, I think we kind of won by default, though it is questionable. That is just, as I say, I think they just wanted to swing around their, I guess, artificially extended dicks around for a little bit. Also, oh fuck, I forgot to edit this, yeah. I did a little bit. I was watching YouTube at the point, and I actually clicked out. I don't know why the fuck it took me that long to get back. Yeah, a little bit of Pokemon, what is it, Let's Go, that. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck was going on there and that, but Jesus Christ. Yeah, this is what happens when you have IT difficulties and you don't rectify it. Yeah, I was meant to get this checked in that, but my goodness, yeah, I had to have not realised the thing was still recording. I had to have, because that just seems completely bonkers that I left that on, like, holy fuck. But, there you go, What a shit show indeed. Alright, and I can probably what I can do now is I can just fast forward to this, because it's going to be more or less getting to the second scene. And yes, again, more of the little bit of lag and all that. Alright, so while that's all ongoing and that, getting ready for the second clan fight and that, yes. So, yes, there's a little bit of massive concerns, and this is what's been building up the past few months. You know, I remember with the Chamber of Designers, originally, I thought it was early 2016, actually I turned out it was wrong, it's early 2017, and then the Theatre of Blood came out in the middle of 2016, so I was like, okay, Theatre of Blood, you know, then the third raid would be like that's around January, March of 2020. That didn't happen. There was the Nightmare Ashiyama, so I thought, okay, maybe, like I kind of bossed it, it was a bit extensive, but not quite to the raids. And then I was like, alright, maybe that's been postponed by a year. So now, like when I say now, I mean January to March of 2021. That was the time where it's like, when I was starting to just decline, whoosh, come out with a third great raid, you know, best slot mage weapon, just like with the range for the first one, melee for the second, you know, that would have been the perfect time. Alongside, I guess, some equipment rebalancing and all that. But they got lazy. They absolutely got lazy. And it was just, like, what the fuck did you expect, you know, it's unfortunate really, but yeah, there's also been a couple of concerns with like the rampant, like, I'm talking about like on a scale that's like really bad. I think some people like to downplay it as a kind of like as a way of keeping people calm, like, oh, you know, we'll get through it together, but nah, I think this is where, you know, I often envision, you know, with Blizzard taking over, Activision slowly taking over Blizzard, you know, over the years and just kind of getting their greasy claws, or not even that, you know, that sort of the satanical tentacle. Oh, what the fuck? There we go. Yeah, now we're actually getting to this. So, okay, I'll get back to that in a moment, but yeah, what the fuck is this? Yeah, a new map. for Clan Wars. Indeed, this was apparently a thing right as of today, like at that day, the Saturday. Yeah, it was actually released, and I guess good timing as well, like fuck me. But holy fuck. Like, that was something that caught me off guard because I wasn't expecting it. You know, I only found out a little bit later on through Reddit that indeed that was actually a thing. But holy fuck. Going to the Clan Wars, man, and then suddenly being put in fucking Lumbridge, like, you weren't expecting that, but indeed, many others were surprised and all that, and it's just like, holy fuck. So yeah, indeed, I'll let this battle unfold because it is evidently a bit more victorious, but you probably noticed as well, I did a little switcheroo. I went with Notorious and this clan here instead of the Castle's Clan Wars one because I thought I don't know. I felt like, you know what, I'll do a little switcheroo. I'll actually go with the supposed enemy clan and I'll see how they get on. And the first one went pretty good. I'll say that much. You can probably tell by the tone that doesn't quite come consistent in that with the later battles, but oh well. Anyway, yeah, in regards to the extreme botting concerns, my concern with Activision Terror Blizzard were their satanical tentacles, a la Lovecraftian monster, you know. Ever so the desire for more and more money, you know, the frivolous sin of greed that unfortunately many people find these days are come to combat themselves with, you know, or just they embrace it, you know. It's like, well, fuck morality, you know, superiority and all. Just pretty much play the morality superior card out in public, but in private, well, as much as you can get away with anyway, you know, that's when you get the money rolling in the bank. And the people in other private as well, you know, they're kept very nice and quiet with an MD gag order, you know, unless they want to risk losing a entire career and be shunned and that, you know. It's a very effective tool, believe me, in business, that is a very powerful tool. It's established these days. Let's not fool ourselves in that, you know. Nothing short of an absolute breakdown, you know, global strike would that actually be potentially reversed, and even then, you know, the power of mega corporations these days. It's why I'm concerned with the Carlyle Group, what their intentions are for RuneScape. Are they just going to kind of have a semi-firm stance on it, like letting it build up, but, you know, build it so it's even more profitable, so the next person sells off, they'll get even more out of it? Or are they just going to fucking milk it dry and just, you know, short-term profits, like 2-3 years, they get a shitload more than they would have done if they'd done, like, say, half amount, or say 5-6 years. But then they have a product that's dead, and it's just like, fuck it, just close it down and GG RuneScape. It makes you wonder. It sincerely makes you wonder. You know, and no amount of people saying, you know, kind of reassuring people will convince me otherwise now that I'm out of the RuneScape scene, as it were. But there you go, there you go. So, alright. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's around this time. Yeah, fishing trawler was broken as all fucking. They made the minigame useless for like 6-8 hours and that. Something to do with the graphics, but also like the water thing wasn't working. I'm not 100% sure, but it was just absolute bonkers. And so yeah, suffice to say, that was a confusing few hours at that, you know. Good. So, okay, what's up next here? Okay, yeah, so the latest update to the equipment balance, and that brings, I don't know why I've got this here, Chaos to mid-gear. I don't know why Chaos, I'm thinking the runes, but that can't be right on that, because that's probably something to do with the melee gear. Yeah, it says here it is, oh yeah, Chaos. I'm confusing the Chaos rune for the terminology Chaos, yeah. Essentially, a lot of things got fucked when they proposed and went ahead with this buff that is the mace. Is that, you know, it is a good thing in hindsight, you know, like the whole thing of like, okay, well, you know, wait, what the fuck am I saying hindsight? The initial idea of maces being buffed was that they'd be more competitive with the likes of Scimitar. Same, I guess, the longswords, but I don't know if they're getting buffed. I forget, I think they are, but might be mistaken. But they must think without the mace things. Fucking hell. Why am I getting lost in the term? Right, okay. The thing with maces is they were meant to act as sort of a crush weapon, combatant to the likes of the the similarities with, I guess the Warhammer is acting as the two hammers sort of version, though as far as I'm aware, I'm pretty sure, no, yeah, the two hammers is a good slash weapon, whereas the Warhammer could be said is sort of equal, if not slightly lesser in terms of crush equivalent. But yes, that has caused some controversy because of a certain, shall we say, obsidian mace, as well as, interestingly enough, the granite hammer of all things, and that, which they now become quite OP with now them becoming photic weapons as well. Yeah, the obsidian mace was like, oh, I guess it wasn't shit. It just was like a bit mediocre. But once you increase like the damage by a whooping 25%, so now it's a photic weapon. Oh boy, that made it actually on par, if not even slightly better than the whip in some cases with Crush. It's like, holy fuck. Yeah, they needed to probably nerf the obsidian because that was like a not bad weapon, you know. But yeah, that probably just didn't get caught in that, the whole beta testing, kind of quality testing and all, shall we say, just didn't get caught. Hey ho, happens, but that's another one, a little bit problems all to the wayside in that, shall we say, yeah. Anywho, yes, so after that, indeed, Runelite version 2.17. This brought about some serious concerns, because you know how many, like, I do actually genuinely believe that the majority of people are using third-party clients these days, and it is unfortunate because I still use the vanilla client to this day, just purely because of a stance of security. Like, yeah, sure, you know, might not have all the additional features, but it is the most secure. Like, you cannot get any more secure than vanilla, and I feel like any kind of third party, it puts your trust in a third-party organisation. I suppose Jagex isn't keen to parry Runelite for reasons, but also the whole stance of use it at your own risk, and a lot of people decide that the risk is worth it. You know, whether that remains to be seen, you know, if there's some actual, like, just catastrophe that leads to, like, hundreds or even thousands of high value accounts being hacked, which I'd almost like to say I'd love to see, but that would be, I legitimately think that would be just like, that could potentially just destroy the game, because then some people might get confused with like Jagex saying, oh, Jagex allowed this happening. I don't know, it could happen. Not saying it will, but you never know. And that will be the fucking controversy news of the fucking decade if that ever does happen, I'll say that much. Yep, so indeed, what was this about? So, version 2.17 was temporarily flagged by a certain Reddit user, Kaspersky, as, what was it? Oh no, I should say, no, I correct myself there, not the user, no, it was an antivirus, one of the lesser known ones, yeah, Kaspersky. Can't say I've really heard of it myself, but there you go. It flagged Runelite as containing a Trojan antivirus. What the fuck am I saying? No, a Trojan antivirus is quite good actually. A Trojan virus on the hand, no, that's actually quite bad because it logs all your details and generally fucks your computers in many, I would say wonderful, but if you experience it yourself, it's not fun, no. It becomes a massive IT headache and I wouldn't wish that upon anybody really. So yeah, a minor panic ensues in the Reddit community as Adam the creator gets this all resolved, and within a few hours all clarified that indeed the Kaspersky antivirus was just basically having a hissy fit. But even then, it leaves that kind of, well, you never know, and what if the next time it might have to be a bit more legit, but there you go, there you go. So, right, one last little bit of news I'll cover here is indeed, it is the, if I can get it back, yeah, so Jagex finally gets around to proposing this long lost Phosani Nightmare. Yeah, you remember that one with the hard mode, nightmare mode and that, and just, yeah, that was certainly something that people were missing. Just like, yeah, they finally got about this idea to bring it back so that people could have another go at it. And I'll admit, if I were to return to RuneScape, old school RuneScape specifically, I'll be keen to test it out after I beat the normal one, because I've only still tried it once. I was something I was want to get back to, but alas, real life has a different calling, I'm afraid, so that has to kind of be postponed. Whether it's a lifelong hiatus or not, I've yet to figure it out, but we shall see, we shall see. But yeah, there was interest enough in mixed reception because Irons weren't too happy that it couldn't be done with teams. There was just other players in that were a bit miffed. Also, yeah, potential gold farmers, you can believe that, yeah. There was a gold farming concern because this offered a couple new abilities. One of them was to do like the teleportation right to there, so there was a rare drop that if you get it, you could get a teleport straight to it. I don't know if it was, I think it was a consumable, but I might be mistaken. But either way, oh fuck. Either way, the concern was there and just, oh fuck. Also, goddamn, the door, fuck. Alright, if you'll excuse me again, I'll have to get this sorted out, so I'll be right back in a second. Alright, there we go, right back at it again. So, alright, as you can see here, just the second battle in a not new arena, yes indeed. Despite the bigger numbers, indeed, we seem to be now suddenly losing, and it's just like, is this a sort of case where we just got lucky the first time, or, you know, is it just... Yeah, if you're paying attention to the background just whilst I'm talking about the news, you may notice there's been a sudden increase in majors. That is no coincidence, and it's not by the people you might think, and that, but... Yeah, that will be revealed, I don't know the exact name, but you'll figure it out near the end, and that where, indeed, there was a reason why we got kind of decimated after that first fight, and you know, despite having the initial advantage. But, there you go, I mean, I managed to last a little bit longer, a little bit. Yeah, no, like, done not bad. Obviously, when you're getting attacked by all kinds of folks, and that's like, holy fuck. You know, do you even stand much of a chance? And it's like, oh, believe me, I fucking tried. But you're getting hammered. Look at that, 5 fucking health. And it's just like, damn. Well, a shame, a shame. Yeah, I want to say that name rings a bell. Yeah, Furious Swag, I think it is. And he's the leader of the opposing clan who I'm now losing against, and which is fun, but there you go. Alright, so where was I? Yeah, in regards to this Drakan Medallion upgrade, indeed that's where I think, from what I remember, yeah, now it's actually, it used to be something you would upgrade the Drakan Medallion with, then it'd be like you could just constantly use it, and now instead it's just a scroll that you'd consume. And pretty much the concern was that gold farmers could use it to... Now, this is an interesting thing because it's not who you would think it would be for, because you're like, okay, you know, gold farmer just gets a quick teleport, but so what, you know, gotta have like 4 others do the same thing, and maybe they're not all want to agree to it. That's not what I think the intention is. It would be the person who's supplying them that would be most beneficial from that, because imagine that. Getting the bank filled out of supplies, go on quick teleport, getting one person in, you know, like, not even like 15 seconds, they're back with full supply, if they're really quick at it. Yeah, no? And it's just like, yeah, that would be extremely effective for gold farmers. Or at least if it's a consumable, it's like you can only get so many uses out of it. You know, and it'll still be useful to, I guess, the normies, as it were. Also potential irons too. There is that much that can be said. Yeah, no? But, alas. That is the general nature of these sort of things, especially when the botting's just being such a huge concern, and understandably so, given just how much shit's been going on recently, and it's just like, holy fuck, where does one even begin? You know, but alas. So, the next one on the news, and okay, you know what? I've actually just realised here, right, I think it's about time. Okay, I'm going to actually pause, yeah. Indeed, second battle lost. Right. I think it's about time we finally fucking get this out of the way. These things up here, you probably won't see them in that, but these little images I've had for fucking months, and I've yet to actually talk about them. So, yes, indeed, I may as well start off, and if I just get the right size. Yes. This here is indeed the map of the fucking, if I remember correctly, the Varrock Ruined Varrock, last one standing. Yes, that one that was supposed to spicing up, but I ended up not really working out. And I mean, now it's, well, fuck. I'll get on that later down the road, but holy shit, is it bad now? But alas, that's what you do. You get changed from free to play to play to play, and that is just. There you go. Now, because this isn't going to work the way I wanted to, I'm going to have to do this one by one. I don't know what's going on with this one, but alas, I have to do this by one. So, this one here, indeed, this... Well, I was going to say, this ties in quite nicely with the news and that, yes. The certain mod rogue. Oh boy! Mod rogue. I got to fucking say, there's mod rogue here. Yeah, it's interesting because EVscape got kind of a... I keep getting confused with EasyScape, though I may be wrong. Maybe it's both the one and the same person, but I believe EasyScape is different from EVscape, but who the fuck knows really. But yeah, essentially he got on a lot of shit because he was the same guy who hosted a tournament, you know, that was received quite well, and he was trying to get a second one, and then there was some stuff with Jagex. He criticised the current, well, at the time anyway, and I do say at the time, the mod rogue who was hosting the esports, and I'll be honest, I don't believe it's sexist to say that she didn't do a very good job. You know, there is the whole, you know, the thing with genders is, it's a funny one, and I suppose maybe there's some concern to be had, like, you know, Moji, how she was treated, and, well, I don't know exactly, you know, you see Mod Elena, but maybe she's just cussing in the background. It's a funny one. You know, any kind of female ploy Jagex is in the forefront of things. It's interesting, but you also got to look at the males as well, and I mean, fuck, Mod Jez got the worst, well, I'd say he didn't really see much balance till he got fired, but that's besides the point. But there's been other male Jagex moderators that have gone on plenty of shit, and it's just... oh fuck, and then there's another one in that as well. Yes, see here, and oh fuck. I want to say like pompous and that, yeah, zealous indeed and that, yes. Thrilled to see swift and immediate action taken against EVscape after reporting to an employer won't stand for sexism. Like, come on. That's... there's a bit of a problem with it. It's like someone who's full of themselves, and that's the kind of... I don't blame people who are like livid at that. Obviously not to the point of death threats and, you know, the usual stuff you see some people doing. Though there is an interesting argument made about that, you know. You block out the legitimate criticism and then you leave in the ones who are like hateful, you know, threatening, or they're just a fucking batshit insane to make the opposition look bad. Selectiveness at its finest. But anywho, I'm going to leave that there for a bit because why am I talking about it exactly? Yeah, because whilst this was going on, yeah, this mod rogue whose real name I may add is Rachel Rakowski, and yes, if I check this here, it is, yeah, the Player vs Player Community Manager, that was her full official title, and that has indeed officially left Jagex sometime in mid-May. I forget the exact dates, but sometime around there, amidst what I could only describe as interesting reactions on Twitter, and also Reddit as well, yes. Very interesting. Like, I can't actually pinpoint what it was like. It's not like wholly negative, you know, like just saying like, thank fuck she's gone, you know, fucking bitch and all that, you know, or like just, you know, what am I post? Oh, like, you know, Yiza, you know, like, oh, we'll miss you, you did such a great service, you know, even if some of it could be said as fake, but it was an odd atmosphere. I can only say, I encourage people to actually go back to that tweet she was announcing to have left, or the Reddit thread, and that, I can't actually pinpoint what it was about, but it was just weird, and I don't know. You know, a bit mixture of satisfaction and also just concern, just with the whole, what she's done, or rather, I should say what she hasn't done, but that's besides the point, and that, but yeah. Suffice to say, there is no more PvP community manager to overlook stuff, and I get the feeling this may not be a position that will ever be refilled again, but who the fuck knows, really. Anywho, to get to the rest of this stuff, and yes, because I mean, I absolutely intend to cover all this shit. Abso-fucking-lutely. You know, it's about fucking time I did this. Yeah, so there was a there's certain interesting thread here, and yes, this one here that was particularly duly noted, and that's simply because, and this is what I find strange, was that I was fairly sure it was either this red thread or the one next to it that was just mysteriously disappeared, and you know, like one that was actually fully criticising Jagex, you know, professionally, and I feel like that's the problem, where it's like Jagex is a bit funny with criticism. Like for the most part, they're right with it. You know, whether it just be the stupid idiots or, you know, dare I say, mentally retarded, and that those who are like, give those people a bad name, unfortunately, or just people are just being like dipshits, really, you know, completely like they're not really there for the right reasons. But this is somewhere it's like actually hammering at the point where Jagex is kind of, yeah, and it talks actually about there as well. And if you read down later on, indeed they are not in the best spot at all, and just, yeah, holding them accountable, which at the end of the day can only do wonders and that for the community. You know, so if I go down there, yeah, you'll see it about here. Yep, that stuff indeed. But then we see here, the next one, you know, I think this was the same person, I want to say. I'm not 100% certain, but I'm fairly sure that was it. And yeah, apparently that just got deleted. Yeah, how to actually contact fucking Jagex support, you know how like they always say like with microbans that you cannot appeal it? That's bullshit pretty much. It's become a bit more widespread. Like people have found ways that you can actually appeal it. You have to go to a certain page and then say, you know, yes, you know, I'd like to get it appealed, you know, maybe it can be done, you know, and then you actually get it through. It's kind of that. I understand the concern. Why? Because Jagex actually faces this kind of thing where, you know, botters and that fucking gold farmers likes, they intentionally flag in false ones, and it's kind of led to this whole problem where eventually they don't trust that kind of system anymore, so they'll just, you know, shift the bulk of it, and they'll leave it to the rare Reddit few and that actually people believe high enough, like gets 1,000+ votes and that for Jagex to look into. You know, it's that kind of, this is where it's led to like only either streamers, you know, the golden children as it were, or like the blessed few, you know, out of the, I don't know what's I forget that Thailand. I was going to say some fans with the Thailand classes, but I forget what they're called. And that you're basically the peasants and that the lucky few that get chosen, you know, that fucking lottery ticket into actually being treated the same as streamers and that, more or less. And unfortunately, the closest example I could think of sort of imagery is just basically them forever being thankful by, I guess, sucking the lovely, most godly cocks for all of time, and that instead of an example of that, oh, you can, there is hope. I don't know why Mauritania came to mind there as well, but it's just, it sets that kind of example, except there is actual hope, it's just so limited. I feel like that shouldn't be, you know, it should be equal, but let's face it, the management of Jagex do not give a flying toss about actually managing Jagex outside of getting in the money, and customer support doesn't bring in the money, at least not in the way they're wanting to. You know, it's not like long term but low profits. Like, yeah, and this is where it's concerning, you know, at the end of the day. Yeah? But alas, there is more. Unfortunately, this one's a bit small, but yes, indeed, this was actually to do with the mod. Was it balance? I thought I was saying mod balance. The equipment balance, and that, yes, this update, and there was a certain comment left by the mod Husky and that, and pretty much being rather snarky to people, like saying, you know, all the people. And I guess it's true, from a certain point of view, you could say that, but it's the whole thing of like one of the most common late game weapons being nerfed, and there's no. I think the Inferno being noticeable because of the fact that, you know, like, I was thinking they are currently proposing to nerf slightly the healers as well as potentially the rangers. The majors they've just justified saying you can just use Twisted Bow, and meleeers, I guess, because they're not actually that weak, and or not that strong, I should say, so you can kind of get by with the minimal effect, but it needs a little bit to add up over time. Believe me, the little bits add up, so, you know, this is where it's got to be considered, and now, well, also this one here, oh yeah, this was another one, oh fuck. Yeah, the door in the face technique, and yeah, this was an interesting tactic the Giants used, because in the first one they were proposing nerf by a fuck ton. Don't know if it was 30% exactly, but it was pretty bad regardless. And then they kind of went halfway with it, and then this is where people were starting to be like, well, okay, we'll accept that, or at least some people anyway, but others, like myself, even though I have no real stake in the fight itself, I mean, I don't really mind if it gets nerfed, to be honest, but you can see the concern. It's like, they can apply this to other stuff and that, i.e. monetization, hint hint, you know, imagine that actually getting customer support, but then you've got to accept microtransaction, it's just, always start low on that. This is the thing in that. They're always trying to find ways of monetizing it, you know, and I reckon now the people standing against it, like, you know, Mod Matt K and on, maybe Mod Ash, but I have some qualms about him, but nothing serious at the moment, but you never know. You never know, eh? Alright, so this is another one with, what is it? Oh boy, I suppose I'll extend that a little bit. Indeed, yeah, World 341, unfortunately my favourite world got hit there for a bit. Thankfully I wasn't actually playing at this rate, but yeah, it got fucked, and that pretty much seems like, yeah, the world crashed and just... A good thing I wasn't, because there was probably a good chance I would have been on World 341 at that point if I had members or something, you know. A good fucking chance indeed. But there you go. Anywho, yeah, so getting to this one. Also, this is another one. Indeed, old school RuneScape Steam. Yeah, this one, they've been doing more of their advertisements and that, oh boy. What can you say about it really, you know, it's just like, holy fuck. Oh man. I suppose it's maybe to get a bit of that. Yeah, there's actually another one I'll need to show after this, because it's like a little clip, but I'll say this at the very least, some of the ads are intriguing, but who the fuck knows really. Alright, this is another one indeed. So, yeah, this is I believe this was to do with the certain mod rare kind of J-mod interview and that, yes, with former mod Reach and that, and pretty much, yeah, this kind of confirms with a lot of things where, like, they pretty much let people bot and that because they were worried about. Indeed, I think this was following the... There was a few months before they had a bot nuke thing, and that fucking obliterated the profits and people quitting because perceived low perception. Hence what could have been a death spiral, but, I mean, later on in the year you would probably see that anyhow. But yeah, they just basically refused to ban bots, and it makes you wonder today's, like, you know, people say, oh, you know, these numbers are getting better and all, it's like steady, 80, 90, 100k. What if actually there's that significant portion of that that's just bots and gold farmers, i.e. not legitimate players, and they're just in denial about it? You know, it makes you question about that kind of stuff. And I'm not joking about that, I feel like part of the truth lays in there somewhere, and Jagex just wants to, you know, imagine like with the investors saying, oh, look at these numbers, you know, totally legit players, like, you know, it's kind of a white light investors, because like, technically there are people playing, sort of, but it makes you wonder, like, it makes you wonder, I'll say that much. Maybe some of the Jagex upper managers kind of decided to approach with the actual investors, and they're just kind of, or I should say the investors are Carlisle Group, but who the fuck knows really. Who the fuck knows? Also need to shift out the way to get to the rest. Yeah, so, okay, this one here was a bit interesting because, yeah, this here, the big indeed numbers, this would have been at the time, I think the RuneScape 3 had a bit of an incident in that, yeah, where multiple people were checking it. Though I think it reached an all-time high, something about 110, 120-ish? Something ludicrous at that. Also, indeed, favourite tune number, but alas. Yes, so that happened, and that was probably the biggest, I think, busiest forums I've been in fucking years. If you can believe it, calling about 10, 20. Oh, Christ. I mean, can you blame them on that? You know, just people wonder what the fuck's going on with their accounts and that. God damn. Oh yeah, and this is indeed confirmation from mod carry. And yeah, so this was a fun little playful description of the whole thing, and I gotta say it's I guess charming, but at the same time a bit cringe, but I mean, who the fuck knows really. And I don't really pay much attention to the RuneScape 3 mod team, though maybe I should, and outside of the rare exceptions, but anyway, there you go. Oh yeah, and on that note, yes, indeed, this Twisted Bow crash, oh boy. Yeah, no longer is it 1 billion, like the economy's crashed that much that indeed in about 3 months, I want to say, yeah, 3 months, it went from a nice 1.18 billion all the way down to 960 million, like a loss of what, 220 million? Some fucking ridiculous like that. I'm like, you think as a Twisted Bow that I would be devastated by this, but ironically I'm not. It's just, as I say, I've quite Runescape, you know, I've always wanted, like, whatever the bank is, you know, I bought at 1.2 billion, so, yeah, I kind of made a loss of about 60 million, and maybe if I'd sold all my items now, right, before I quit, I'd be fucking making bank when, like, the items do, well, hopefully they do come up, but we shall see in that one, but, alas. And finally, yes, oh boy, this here, yes, cheeky shenanigans! Oh boy. I think I'll just leave it at that. I'll leave the speculation because, yeah, that isn't the only one here. You have Rosalina or that. Yeah, a certain Calamity Meg and oh boy. What to say about it? What to say, yes. Seth Skylar, up to no good. Oh boy. Anywho, moving on. Yes, indeed, this was also a boring concern and that. Oh boy. This was indeed pretty much proving the point that you can indeed bot with a VPN and just once you get accused of being hacked. I think it works only if you've had an account that's been legit for a while and then you get hacked, because Jagex, I reckon, will see that, okay, there's people be clearly bottom of the start, you can't actually claim an account you barely even played. But for something that you've played a little while and then something gets hacked, it's very interesting, very interesting. And it's like, you can't really disprove it, because then what if someone's legitimately got hacked? It's like, you just say, well, tough shit, unless you're a content creator or just one of the lucky few peasants that rises from the rest. Yeah, again, it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder. I feel like it's going to make me tell I'm going to see a lot more in the coming months than that. I won't be surprised if it's already been used. But yeah, one last thought I want to show here is, yeah, this here, this is not RuneScape, it's not even Mudscape, it's one of those really old MMORPGs called a Meridian 59. Yeah, this was, I guess, what could actually be described as a precursor to Mudscape a la RuneScape, a la RuneScape 2, RuneScape 3, then old school RuneScape, kind of. You know, this is what kind of potentially gave a bit of inspiration, but it does look a lot like fucking RuneScape if you kind of glance at it, you know, it has the similarities that are quite strong, so can't believe people like Reddit posted thinking, yeah, that actually does look like RuneScape, you know, just a bit more primitive and not quite as the iconic, the layout interface and all. So, alright, right, what I'll do here, close all of this shite and that, because this is going to fucking clog. There we go. Okay, right to the last bit, so, alright. I reckon, yeah, one last little bit of news I'll quickly try to cover up before I head on off again. Indeed, so pretty much, as you'll no doubt know, the last episode, yep, the very next day after that, the games room, yes, that little Barthol kind of games room I covered with Kitty Foxfire, I think a few days after I got in the Twisted Bow and that, yes. Oh, that's finally getting a bit of love. And also, yes, Falladra Park, another map that will be covering next time, yes, so indeed, Berthold's Games, as I said before, has been given much love. I say much love, but what it means, they actually got some fucking love in the first fucking place. And yeah, Pretos have now finally, at long last, been given a chance to be appreciated by much of the free-to-play community. Albeit, I will say it's only lasted a few days before people just didn't really give much of a toss about it. And you fucking bet the client, like those Galvin bots and that, like, oh fuck. They were quick to take on the opportunity. Yeah, it's just, Jesus Christ, but yeah, at least I could say that I actually came about and all when, you know, just also those new Clan Wars style NPCs, which, how effective they are, I don't know. I mean, I'm inclined to say no, but I mean, who the fuck knows, but alright, reckon next time we'll should hopefully get this done, but I have a funny feeling I'll still be on it a lot longer yet, just based on the news and that, but hopefully I can get this all done before then. So, Until then, ladies and gentlemen, until then. Alright. Hello there, one and all, ladies and gentlemen, to what I don't want to say this is the final part of the Clan Wars kind of thing, even though I reckon it is. Also, yes, Wonder Woman, a very rare name of that, I gotta say. I wasn't expecting that to appear of all things, but there you go. So, indeed, now we start on the Falador Park. I think this is the only other new map that's been added in that. It's very much got both of them have unusual layouts. This one a bit more so because of the general nature. Like, you'll see it on the other side, it's got that house which acts as kind of a protective environment, and unfortunately these cunts quite figured out, because we're like outnumbering like 10 people, and yet I was one of the only people who thought, nah, better not go in there because they'll fucking out. Oh, I mean, if you're going to go there, please get everybody going in there, but alas, that's the problem, eh? Too many people just eager to rush in and they get obliterated, and that's the way you kind of. I don't think they were using really third-party clients here, but it's a cunning strategy, I'll say that much. But alas, there's not enough smarties in this clan here and that. But hey ho, hey ho. All right, getting back to the news and that. Yes, so the Theatrix and having a, shall we say, something of a mental breakdown, partially due to the notorious Oda Block having damaged, and this is something I wasn't aware of. I wasn't aware he actually fucking won a Golden Gnome. I thought it was like he was nominated, but I didn't think he fucking won one. It was like somebody like being the best old school Runescape streamer. I'm like, what? But oh well, I suppose there's a thing to be said about clans. You know, like, or not even that. Fuck, just the kind of staking kind of, like, I don't know. He is a good peaker, I'll say that much, but the kind of people he encourages and brings about to the RuneScape community, it's debatable. And I say it's interesting. I know that a friend got whacked because he was outright advertising real world trading, but I suppose Odablock's learned from his predecessors' downfalls and has kind of been a lot more discreet about it. As long as, I guess, the strong loyalty of the Pk'ing community and that, you know, I don't know. He's never struck me as a fellow that's good for the community, but there you go. And now he's been nominated for it. Yep. So indeed, what happened to exactly? Like, how the fuck did it get damaged? Well, apparently, according to what I remember, and he just basically chucked out the fucking thing and out a window, or I think bashed or some shit. And basically, because it's not made of real gold, which is dense as fuck, and not even like a half decent material that can at least withstand, like, maybe we'll get a few dents here and most scratches. It just fucking broke off completely. And I reckon, yeah, Theatrix was not fucking amused about that, you know, actually very much livid, if you can believe it. As this is where it gets interesting, and because it started off as him kind of like getting on to Older Block, just basically having a little, I don't want to say catfight, but really it is. I'm going to say it's not catfight because I know Older Block was just kind of, he just didn't give a shit, whereas, you know, Theatrix was really going out for him, and then later on this started going to other content creators, you believe it, you know, people were like, some of which I like to say was even his friends, pretty much on the basis like, you know, oh, you fucking protecting, or you just saying, like, it's a, I was thinking there with Star Wars, it's a very much Sith way of thinking about it. It's like, you know, in absolutes, and you know, yeah, you know, you're either with me or you're against me kind of thing, and that's where he started blocking other content creators, and just, yeah, his mental state was, rather, shall we say, piss poor. I think this was partially contributed, like, I don't know how long, a week, two, maybe a month or so. His girlfriend had left him or something like that, and she also confirmed that he had some mental issues that he was refusing to get help for, and this led to an interesting dynamic, because some people were like just rightfully getting round to him, like just saying, you know, just get the fuck off the internet, you know, pretty much you need to get yourself sorted out. And then other people say, oh no, don't criticise him. You're like, you know, like basically pretend like this isn't an issue. Just be much more sympathetic to him. And I kind of feel like it's interesting mental off, because I kind of feel like this is a case where it's like, again, it's the streamers and that, if their mental health is like, whoosh, super high priority, but again, the ordinary peasant and that, gambler and that, they can get fucked. And you know, it's a very interesting dynamic, and I think it's just unfortunate. It's like all the ordinary commoners are expected to kind of step in line for supporting who's supposed to be supported. I actually remember that fucking Jadine and that, she who I only got along with for a brief time and that, described it as being some of a Reddit hive mind. She fucking couldn't stand it. And in some ways, I bet there's a confirmation bias here. It's like, I'm inclined to say yes when it's like how I feel and people respond, it's like good on them. When it's not, they're like, what the fuck are you thinking? And I like to try and think I'm somewhere on the reasonable scale of things, because sometimes it's like, why are you so blinded to these things? But it was a mixed one in that. I would say it's just 50-50 really, as to the whole, shall we say, the controversy of that. So multiple threads getting blocked on Reddit, and that courtesy of Biomaster Zap and his other moderator cronies and that, Yeah, that jazz. Oh fuck. Also, yes, I think around this time as well, and that there was also a Twitch Prime deal that was breaking the record of 10 months and that, for giving out free membership deals of 7 days and that. Yes, from what I understand, and that it appears to be that they're now just offering it for a long ass time. It's not like, okay, for this 1 month you'll get so much and that. It's like, nope, just whoosh, just fucking go straight into, 10-month long, you can get a 7-day free day membership. Just like, holy fuck. Yeah, suffice to say, the botting's going to get pretty bad for these next few months at the very least, and that, because they're not up in the bot detection. It is in fucking shambles, unfortunately, but what can you do, eh? What can you do? Well, so, yeah. Oh, yeah, this is another thing I was going to talk about. Yeah, Jagex adding their lore. Like, they've recently been... Probably very few will give a shit about this, but way back, I think in 2006 or 2007, going all the way up to, I think the last was 2017 or 2018, they added these various little lore articles, like, the rise of the section of the Bower Brothers and all the stuff to do with, like, the gnomes and Glow. A few other ones that stood out to me as being particularly interesting, like Damonheim and all that. And also, I guess, the Runescape free heroes that nobody really gives much to toss, myself included, but something to read on at least. Yeah, they've started to add new ones for specifically old school RuneScape and that. How the fuck can I forget the first one? I think it was something to do with the latest quest and that, or... I forget that's a third one, like, Jesus Christ, my memory's going shit with this. Yeah, one of them was to do like the latest kind of quest leading into the Crown series and that, Queen Rose and Princess Rose, should say, all that's jazz. Indeed, the Corrupt Council was a word. This one was a bit more controversial because it had to do with whole exotic and experiments of that kind of. But it was to do with a highly contested, Din's Bulwark. And yet, the way they're justifying it here is that they're saying that, the one we got wasn't like it was the real one, but rather it was tinkered with. Yeah, i.e. they're retconning it to make it sound like, okay, it's actually meant to have negative, not even no margin for it's fucking negative. And you have to read the threads, like the article yourself, but it did seem oddly convenient for them, and I felt like it seems a weird way of justifying it for the Pk'ers, and just, yeah, it just seems like defense is both an underrated thing, yet overrated at the same time, because it's overrated in that it's not many people value it, but it's underrated at the same time because when you do need it, it's fucking useful, i.e. defend yourself against Pk'ers and the likes, and just, holy fuck. Oh well. I suppose there is that, and also this last one, and I think they didn't count one of the battles because, they suddenly put it to no food, and no, they did put the food, and we, like, half the team didn't have any. I think that was the second battle, I want to say, but yeah, also it's just saying nay to gambling. Yeah, this was the last time I brought my horse in that, I had to trade it over to my out, and that's simply because I wanted to keep it, and yeah, my bank's still being quite full, and unfortunately, but there you go. So yeah, just for the whole, this whole nerf thing and that. It's just, as I say, it just seems odd that Jagex is having such a focus on giving Pk'ing the extra edge in that, which makes the Wilderness just that little bit more extra dead, but oh well. Yeah, this time we're a bit outnumbered, so suffice to say, you'd be right in assuming that we're going to get fucked. Royally fucked. And there's one person who was on the team that was being a bit of a dipshit, and yeah, they didn't stand a chance. The rest of them, very corny, I gotta say, very corny indeed. They're camping in one corner, which you could have fucking waited, luring them out, but then I think it would be very boring. I'll say that much, very boring. And but that probably would be the best fucking thing. Like you wait for them and you play them their own game, but alas, patience is not a virtue in most of my teammates here. They're just like, don't think they can really give much of a toss to me, I'm being honest, but oh well. So yes, actually this is a funny thing here, that one of the last articles I've got here, yeah. Indeed, I just spoke about earlier, the Meridian 59 that may have indeed inspired RuneScape / Devious, no, not Mudscape, Devious Mud. Multi-user dungeon, I believe that's what it's called, at least from what I looked up in earlier. And yes, so indeed there's that. So yeah, now for the last one. This was one that just kind of went to show that Last Man Standing is kind of fucked. So remember what I said before, Last Man Standing? Essentially, how it started off, way back in December of 2019, I forget the guy's name now, unfortunately, but he started up the interest to get the whole thing going and that, unlocking these kind of Halos and that, you know, free to play, and it was actually quite good. And you know, like I managed to get like a Halo in a few days, and that then it came back later on to, I think within a month or so, to get a second one, but I kind of stopped about 4/5 of the way there. Or no, 3/4 I should say, about 320 points anyway. And yeah, pretty much stopped there for the most part, but then I came back sometime in the middle of, was it no, I forget actually, it was middle of last year, kind of near the end of 2020. I came back to get the golden Sarah God sort of thing and that, you know, and then once that was there, I was done. And but yeah, bots were just kind of a thing that they were there just to kind of fill up the spots for the most part, with maybe say the one or two bots being designated to try and get the points, so to speak, you know, getting a kill and all that. But then, fun enough, something interesting happened when Jagex just made it so that you can only get points in members, thus really killing off free to play last night outside of, I guess, a few bored souls and that. But alas, so what happened in members Last Man Standing exactly? Because from what I understand, it started off with the team and that as a whole. I don't know how I don't know how to phrase it exactly, but some guy must have thought, but many months ago, and I don't know if it was Travesta, Sea Engineer, Sparkmark, or Framed in it, who covered the potential of a PK bots that sort of auto lens, you know, like machine lens over time, and it becomes more prominent, more devastating at Pk'ing and that, you know, illegal third-party software and all. I reckon they looked that up and then they got the idea to actually implement this in Last Man Standing, where now you actually have to win. And pretty much this new bot farm, it's not just one that's a mere inconvenience, or let's just play games with sparse amount of numbers. No, this is actually something that they will aim to win. And I guess at the start they weren't really that great, at least they weren't coded that perfectly, not taking upgrades, you know, certain tricks they easily worked around, you know, things like that. But now the latest version, they're described as being really fucking good, to the point that I'd say only the sweaty ones can reasonably, like, maybe, I wouldn't say even they might get the occasional loss if you're unlucky in that. So it's like, basically, if you're not, like, really fucking good, then you're going to lose the majority of the times the bots. That's how bad it's gone. Like, the bots are like fucking Terminators now, essentially obliterating your chances of actually reasonably doing well in Last Man Standing. And it's a shame, really. It's an absolute shame, because I feel like Last Man Standing could have had a bright sort of potential future in that if Jagex actually bothered their asses and started implementing different modes or not. So at least it would kind of fuck with the bots in a way, but alas. Last Man Standing seems to have been killed off quite ungraceful. Well, I wouldn't say killed off, but it's looking to be like that. Like, I reckon some point I would wager in the next 3 to 6 months, one of two will either happen. Either pretty much Jagex will just can the whole thing, just say, alright, it's become like Bounty Hunter, it's come too far, we can't regulate it. GTFO, GG, Last Was Down is now dead, and then just cut the whole thing apart. Or, what I reckon they'll probably more likely do is they'll just leave it be, pretty much not touch it, and it will just, like, it'll be crazy to think if these bots can get even more advanced to the point that even the really good ones are strong enough against them, and they'll just end up like just being, fuck it, it's bot having, and that'll be it. Ah, man. Alright, I reckon that probably covers that. That's like indeed the end of the last battle, and just, yeah, we get decimated, and as expected, and yeah, there we go. Pretty much that. As they say, is also Tarzan. I didn't realise there was another one with that. Holy fuck. Boy, say nay to gambling. I took the fucking gamble trying to switch to a different clan and it did not fucking pay off. Yeah, see with that, that bloody one was only there for a split second. Also, yeah, it's already ended. Actually, I thought this was going to be a bit longer, but probably because I sped through it. Oh well. Also, yeah, I really ought to have blocked this, but oh well. I suppose, actually what I'll do here, put this in. Yeah, basically YouTube will do the fucking job for me, and I should have probably, but the less, suffice to say, I've become a bit more lax with, how would you say it, just security as a whole. And I know that I'm not the best example of security, since I will have the pen, which indeed, no, you're not going to find out, not today anyhow. But yes, so indeed, pretty much where I find myself with old school RuneScape is that, it's been good, and that it's been a sort of good long run and that, but unfortunately, at the end of the day, I find myself with work and that. Pretty much where I stand with it is the whole, when you're dealing with, it's kind of difficult to even say, because I don't know really how much I could talk about currency, just with the whole, without boring people to death, or potentially risking fucking confidentiality, non-disclosure agreements indeed, and, but pretty much the idea of it is that, yeah, all this work that I've done and that, it's something that I will remember, but I kind of feel like it's time to move on, more or less, just all that jazz. If I, actually, one thing I will actually say, before I go, yeah, you probably noticed it, yeah. What the fuck are these two? I actually forgot to mention this, because I guess I didn't really give much of a toss about it. Yeah, Clan Wars. And why the fuck am I being... Clans, yeah, that system they had from RuneScape 3, the whole clan stuff, there's always a confusing terminology, like what is a friend chat and a clan chat? In old school RuneScape, the friend chat is the clan chat, and then RuneScape 3 is done properly. Here I suspect there's going to be a certain confusing terminology, because this is not a clan chat anymore. This is now a friend chat, with the whole this here being actual clan chats. It's just holy fuck. But indeed, there you go with that, just god damn. So I reckon here, I've never actually tried to find it. Just give me, I'll put an L just to see. Yes, LOL. I'm not sure. Fuck. I want to try to come up with something in that. I genuinely don't know half the clans. And if I... Zizima! Size... Let's see, if we go on chat here, I might see it. Yeah, so you see here, and that pretty much, this is now a whole new host of, clan chat sort of stuff and that, new opportunities indeed. And also these weird ranks and that, it's just like, holy fuck. Even I got my own rank apparently, though I don't know why, but yeah, apparently it is intriguing with that. Also, no, I don't have enough space. Oh well, it was worth a shot. So yeah, I reckon in conclusion here, I mean, as much as I feel about RuneScape as a whole, a lot of fun memories to be had. And that, you know, I think at the end of the day, and that, you know, it's about prioritising, you know, life and that for me. And I feel like this is why, you know, you might be able to tell that I'm kind of semi-busy with another game and that. Yes, Fall Guys at the moment, and I'm kind of trying to AFK on, what was it, Slam Dunk, see if I can get easy finals. Yeah, the whole thing with consoles is that pretty much you kind of have this thing where you can pretty much just kind of go on and off, even though the yearly subscription is kind of a thing that actually should spend as much time, but in reality it doesn't really have that effect. Whereas even a 2-week subscription of RuneScape Bonds has that feeling where you have to spend as much time as possible. And before when I was part-time, or even when I was unemployed and that was easy enough to do. Now I just feel like, nah, I just can't commit that same amount of time. It's either one, I saw compromise, which honestly the pandemic, you know, doing all the stuff and that whilst I'm, you know, away in the computer and that, doing all my accounts and that, you know, for whichever clients, it's tempting. It's fucking tempting. And like, there's no way for them to detect. Absolute zero. But alas, I made my decision, and I guess that should have to be that then, eh? But alright, hopefully if I ever do make another video, hopefully it'll be a new one, you know, like fucking, what is it? You know, Ashy Hammer or something. But until then, folks, I wish you all a good one, and take care, and, yeah, till then.